start the meeting. I'll call the November meeting of the New York State Cemeteries Board to order. Just hope people not only had a chance to get a 3-day weekend, but also a chance to honor the veterans that served. Other than that, I have no other opening remarks. We first order of business is to approve. Oh, no, I'll introduce myself and introduce the board. I'm Mark Patterson, representing Walter Mosley.
I'm Thomas Fuller, representing Dr. James McDonald for the Department of Health.
And I'm Jill Faber, representing Attorney General Letitia James.
Great. So board members are all here. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the previous meetings. We distributed them on the website. Does anybody have any suggestions or questions on the minutes as distributed?
I was not at the meeting, so I have no comments.
Comments?
I have one proposal.
Yes.
Under exempt session, have the first sentence read, Robert Vanderblus recommended the board move to exempt session to receive the advice of counsel on 2 issues.
Okay. I'll make the motion to amend the minutes to amend that first sentence as read by our counsel now. Have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the minutes are amended. Now, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as amended. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meetings are approved. The minutes are approved. We have legislation regulation. We distributed those things. Any other comments, Rob, on our legislation regulations?
No legislative report this month, and I have no update on regulations.
So thank you, Rob. Any questions of Rob from board members? All right,
No.
Louis, you can poke your head in the frame and give your division report.
Yep, so mostly I have a staffing report. Corey Moore, our new investigator for Syracuse, started on November 7th. Jeff Hardwick, our new accountant for Syracuse, is starting on November 21st. I'll have more updates for you at the next meeting.
Great, good to have continued success in filling necessary positions at the division level.
In this
Just,
sort of bad
hey.
news, we had to repost the Binghamton investigator position. That's open through November 22nd. So if you know anybody in who wants to be in the Binghamton area who's interested, please let them know that's there. If you want me to send you the actual posting, I can do that. Other than that, we have the abandonment report for this month. I distributed that. Nothing I particularly feel the need to highlight. If anybody has any questions, happy to try to answer them. Oh, and last thing after that, in case while I'm waiting for people to think if they have questions, next month we're having our holiday gathering / division meeting after the board meeting on December 10th, assuming the board meeting is December 10th. So you're obviously all welcome to join us.
All right, any members of the board have any questions of the abandonment report that's distributed? Okay.
No.
It's a very necessary, important function, and I think the staff are working hard at trying to keep cemeteries being operated by not-for-profit cemeteries in their community. So thanks for that. Vandalism report distributed.
Yep. So we have approved so far about $1.4 million worth of applications. We have spent $639,000 paid out cash. I know we've also sent upstairs to fiscal to process well over $200,000. Again, same scenario. If we had to pay everybody everything, we'd be at a deficit level, but of course it's a timing thing. And we're going into the slow months, so anything being approved now is not going to really be started until next spring. I also have reports on the annual reports that we've received so far this year. So we've received total reports, 1,511. 643 of them were online, representing 43%.
That's 2/3 of the reports or something about that.
A little more, 40,
Little more.
43%, yeah.
But no, I meant all in.
2/3, it's more than that,
Okay.
1,300.
Great. So again, we do that. We'll try to get their annual reports in. Staff can be helpful if you need help. Let us know.
I
We'll check them.
would like to say that having all the new staff, accounting has really helped with that because they're able to stay on top of it.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of Alicia of the vandalism report or the abandoned, or the, not the abandoned report, or the vandalism report or the annual meeting report? All right.
I'm just
moving
curious.
on, we-
Oh, I actually just, I'm
Yes.
curious, in terms of the online reporting, was there an increase from last year, if you know?
It's been holding steady, I think by the end of the year at around 40-45%. So, yeah, I think we need to really get out there with our accountants and help people learn how to do it online. Carrie did do an online tutorial that's available. So
Mhm.
hopefully people will take advantage of that in this upcoming annual report season.
Again, we
thanks.
really urge people to try to figure out how to do it online. It's better for us, but it's also better for you once you do it. It's easier in the long run and more accurate.
Absolutely, and the tutorial is there available. It walks you right through the whole process
On our website.
on our website. Yep.
Again, we encourage people to do that. And we move into our abandonment or vandalism fund. We have one application from Beechwood Cemetery in Oneida County in the amount of $57,315.19. We have someone reporting on that application.
Yeah, this is Mike Seelman from the division. Beechwood Cemetery is a small rural cemetery in the town of Forestport, northern Oneida County. They submitted an application for the repair of 45 hazardous monuments. We visited the cemetery and found that all 45 appeared to pose a hazard. The most recent monuments dated 1979, and the cemetery does not have contact information for the lot owners. So they ran a legal notice for 3 weeks in the Rome Sentinel, and they didn't receive any response from that. So it's our understanding that the cemetery has determined that the lot owners cannot be located. They provided 2 repair estimates, one from Northeast Cemetery Services for $57,200 and one from Foxden Memorials for $78,575. This was to reset all 45 monuments on concrete foundations. The low bid is Northeast. They're providing 42-inch foundations and a 10-year warranty. The average cost of the estimate per monument is $1,271 each. Cemetery is up to date on their vandalism payments and annual reports. And I recommend approval in the amount of $57,315.19.
Thank you, Mike. Does anybody have any questions on this application?
Questions?
No.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the application of Beechwood Cemetery in Oneida County in the amount of $57,315.19. Don't say it, subject to the availability of funds.
I'll second that.
Oh, yeah, I got it right once. All in favor?
Aye.
Application is approved. We have 2 other pieces of business. First is Pine Lawn lease is labeled. So who's presenting that?
That's me. Hold on one sec. Let me just open up a memo. So Pine Lawn back, we presented this for the first time back. I think you're supposed to still be on camera. So we presented it for the first time back in April of 2023, at which point the board essentially said, looks like certain, we don't, at which point the board said that they didn't, among other things, that they didn't object to the town of Babylon acting as the lead agency for the purpose of state environmental quality act review, seeker. So that process has been going on. Last time this came before us, May 23rd, 2024, the town had provided a scope of work, which is basically an outline for a draft environmental impact statement. We reviewed it. We shared that with the board for its review. Also, the board adopted a resolution sending some comments to the town of Babylon. We're back here again because we've received on October 4th the draft environmental impact statement itself. Council and I reviewed it pretty closely, all 1,000-something pages of it. And we had comments, which we passed along to, which we've reduced to a draft resolution and shared with the board. We all obviously shared the entire document with the board as well. At this point, we're suggesting that the board adopt this resolution that summarizes the comments we caught, plus anything you might want to add to it. That would then go to the town, which would consider them for what they regard them to be worth in finalizing the draft environmental impact statement. Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's all the board is called upon to do today, to authorize us to send, to adopt a resolution that we, and then authorize us to send it to the town.
Correct.
Okay, have any other comments, Rob, other than reading the resolution?
Other than reading the resolution, which I think encapsulates my comments as proposed in the DEIS, no, I have no other comments.
Okay, so this motion though is in regard to seeker, not
Yes,
to the actual lease itself,
correct.
and that will come. All right, so,
Right, the board can't consider the lease until we're done with the environmental review.
good, I was just trying to make sure it was transparent. Okay, so.
One thing I did catch on the draft, which we can just do by hand, is the date on it is the old date of the former date for that this meeting was scheduled for, November 4th. So somebody should, if we have a physical copy there, just cross that out and write 12 on it.
Yes, Louis, I was about to mention that I caught that typo, and in the printed version, I have November 12th written.
So we'll just circulate your version then. Excellent.
Indeed. Great minds, Louis, great minds.
Yeah, let's say.
Would you like me to read the proposed resolution? All right, buckle in, it's 3 pages. Whereas Pine Lawn Memorial Park and Arboretum, the cemetery proposes to lease 100.114 acres of land to Bristol Suffolk LLC to construct an industrial technology park consisting of 9 buildings and associated site improvements, and subdivide and rezone 100.114 acres from a 111.394 acre lot to a planned industrial park 2, the proposed action. And whereas on or about April 17th, 2024, the Town of Babylon Town Board, the town, as lead agency, determined that the proposed action may have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and a draft environmental impact statement, DEIS, must be prepared. And whereas on May 23rd, 2024, the New York State Cemetery Board provided comments and recommendations to the town on the scope of the DEIS. And whereas on July 10th, 2024, the town adopted a final scope for the DEIS. And whereas in its May 23rd, 2024 resolution, the Cemetery Board sought at number 9, a discussion on the anticipated traffic impacts on visitors to areas of cemetery interments west of proposed action across Lilies Neck Road and the proposed Lot 2 at number 14, a description of the visual impact of the proposed action on areas of cemetery interments west of Lilies Neck Road and at proposed Lot 2, and at number 16, visitor counts to cemetery interment areas west of Lilies Neck Road and at proposed Lot 2 to identify peak usage times and identify impacts on visitors that could have been created by the proposed action and mitigations if necessary. And whereas the town as lead agency at section 6 of the final scope entitled Issues Deemed Not Relevant, Not Environmentally Significant, or Adequately Addressed in Prior Environmental Review concluded in part at number 4, that the preparation of separate photo simulations from the interior of the cemetery's operations and proposed lot 2 are not warranted because of an existing wooded buffer and preparation of other photo simulations, and further concluded that information on visitors to the cemetery would be captured in the existing conditions traffic count on both Wellwood and Little East Neck Road, and a separate visitor count is otherwise not warranted. Now therefore, be it resolved that the cemetery board offers the following comments on the DEIS. Number 1, the addition of a parking lot, gate, and associated improvements in proposed lot 2, discussed on page 3-10, would require cemetery board review and approval as a major alteration application. The permit/approval/review type column on table S-2 on page S-13 should include land sale approvals from the New York State Department of State Division of Cemeteries Cemetery Board if the easement from the cemetery sought by the Suffolk County Water Authorities to supply water to the project, as discussed on page 1-8 and Appendix J, 14th page, is necessary, or the mitigations discussed on pages S-54 and S-55 and in section 3.4.3, including the road widening at Little East Neck Road and Colonial Springs Road on page 3-112, and road widening at Little East Neck Road and Long Island Avenue on page 3-113 would require a sale, other acquisition, or easement of land from the cemetery. Number 2, the proposed prohibition of truck traffic along Little East Neck Road between Colonial Springs Road and the project site entrance, as discussed at S-4, S-7, S-8, S-34, S-41, S-53, 1-18, 1-19, 3-38, 3-64, 3-103, 3-110, 5-20, and Appendix D, may increase truck traffic on Wellwood Avenue. The cemetery and a number of other cemeteries are located on Wellwood Avenue. The cemetery board desires further analysis as to whether additional truck traffic diverted from Little East Neck Road will primarily utilize Wellwood Avenue, and, if so, include further discussions about the impact of any additional truck traffic on Wellwood Avenue, or clarification where that analysis is already present. Number 3, page 3-44 and Appendix M, noise analysis on page 26, incorrectly concludes that proposed lot 2, the location of receiver South 7, and the west side of Little East Neck Road, the location of receiver West 8, are non-residentially zoned lots, and the noise analysis applies a higher nighttime decibel limit of 65 for those tests. Table 3.2-6 on page 3-45 and table 6 of Appendix M, sound plan results, notes a quote level W/ONP end quote of 61.3 dBA at proposed lot 2, the location of receiver South 7, which exceeds the applicable residential nighttime limit of 55. However, because the cemetery ends visitation hours at 6 p.m., no visitors should be in lot 2 during the nighttime period to be impacted by these sound levels. The cemetery board recommends the analysis be amended to reflect the correct zoning and decibel limits for those areas, along with the acknowledgement that visitors should not be in those areas during the nighttime period. Number 4, the cemetery board desires clarification or additional analysis as to the anticipated model decibel levels set forth in Appendix M, Section 3.2 as follows. Inclusion of a point source and associated analysis for the proposed sanitary pump station that, according to Attachment 2, 204-0702, preferred alternative rendered plan, appears to be sited north of Warehouse 1, and according to page 3-81, will include an on-site generator. B, whether table 3.2-6 at page 3-45 and table 6 of Appendix M, level W/ONP column, which indicates the projected/model decibels, takes into account the existing background noise gathered in Appendix M, Section 1.3 sound monitoring to determine the cumulative sound level as discussed in Appendix M, Section 3.1.1, The area of potential concern to cemetery visitors and staff are at points 2, 7, and 8, as identified on page 3-45 and elsewhere. C, whether table 3.2-6 on page 3-45 and table 6 of appendix M, level W/O and P column indicates the projected / model decibels at each receiver was calculated with or without any projected / modeled reduction due to intervening buildings, vegetation, distance, the proposed sound wall, or other mitigations. D, whether the projected / modeled decibel at each receiver, taking into account the existing background noise and its accumulative impact, and any reductions due to intervening buildings, vegetation, distance, sound walls, or other mitigations, results in an increase in decibel levels that, according to the DEC's assessing and mitigation noise impacts referenced in Appendix M, Section 2.1, should result in further consideration of mitigation or avoidance. Number 5, concerns regarding vandalism, illegal dumping, and trespass involving ATVs discussed at page 5-4 with a no-build alternative should also be highlighted in the summary on page S-70. Number 6, the cemetery board desires clarification as to whether the preferred alternative will include solar panels or merely have roofs sufficient to support future solar panels. For example, on page 1-8, the language indicates the proposal includes installation of solar panels, whereas on page S-50, the language indicates the applicant is merely considering installation of the solar panels. Additional references are found in S-4, S-36, S-72, 1-12, 3-63, 3-84, 4-3, 4-8, 4-9, 4-12, 5-5, 5-10, and 5-18. Number 7, the cemetery board recommends that the reference to proposed lot 2 as a buffer at page 3-37 should be removed because, contrary to the introductory statement, the existence of the cemetery interments within proposed lot 2 are not a result of the preferred alternative plan. And number 8, the cemetery board desires clarification as to whether, should there be any inadequacy in the capacity of the recharge basin for stormwater drainage, such inadequacy would affect nearby burials in lot 2 due to the slope of the land or underground water migration. See page 3-9, 3-47, and elsewhere. Proposed resolution is dated November 12th.
Okay. So that resolution was distributed to the board. Minus this change. Does the board have any comments on the proposal?
It's very thorough.
Jill?
Indeed, no questions, no.
I would just also like to say that, again, we've over the past year, we've been, working to make sure we're compliant with the secret rules as we understand them now. Sometimes it feels like a lot of paperwork or bureaucracy, but it is the process that is set out to make sure issues are considered. We are not the lead agency, but we're working hard to make sure that our constituencies, our lot owners' interests are represented. So I'd just like to say that my appreciation to the staff, particularly Council Rob and Director Lewis, and their attention to the detail of the report, again, very thorough. Again, I have no other comments other than to thank them for their work. So I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution as read into the record. Do I have a second?
I would second that.
All right, Jill? All in
Aye.
favor? No, aye.
Aye.
The resolution is passed. So thank you again for that. Again, that affects only the seeker, our comments on seeker, not on the actual application. Big project though. Next on our agenda is discussion about the Wellwood Beth Moses merger, something we've been working on, or they've been working on for a while. Who's gonna
Everybody
present
know
that?
my continued recusal.
Okay.
Who's
Hi, this is Carrie.
Family members there. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Carrie McGovern, investigator with the Division of Cemeteries. Beth Moses Cemetery Association in West Babylon, New York is seeking board approval to merge with Wellwood Cemetery Association to create a single cemetery that would be known as Wellwood Beth Moses Cemetery. The two cemeteries are contiguous, but since the resulting cemetery would be 280 acres in size, New York State Not-for-Profit Corporation Law Section 1506D would apply. Wellwood and Beth Moses lie next to each other, and there are no physical barriers dividing the two cemeteries. There are only signs denoting the border between the two. Both cemeteries are active and financially sound. They share an administration building and maintenance outbuildings, as well as equipment and some staff. The boards of both cemeteries are identical, but function separately for each. If the merger is approved, the board would remain in place and function as the board of the Wellwood Beth Moses Cemetery. The boards of each cemetery met and approved the merger, as did the lot owners of each cemetery. These meetings were properly noticed, and lot owners were also notified by mail of this possible merger. The town of Babylon was notified of the merger in August of 2023. Notice to Suffolk County authorities will be sent pending New York State Board approval of this merger. Both cemeteries are active, they're well-maintained, they're financially sound. The merger would not cause any hardship to the cemetery clientele or the surrounding community. The merger would simplify operations within the cemeteries and improve efficiency while also cutting down on some costs and expenses. The cemeteries appear to be up to date with required reports and in compliance with state statute. The division recommends the board in turn recommend approval, subject to subsequently obtaining other approvals as needed, and also approve the certificate of merger. Thanks.
Thank you, Carrie. Council, do you have anything to add?
I distributed a confidential memo to the board on this prior to the board meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions, either in public session or in an exempt session, if the board desires. I've also drafted a proposed resolution that is in accordance with the division's recommendation.
Okay. Is there anyone from the section who wishes to address the board on this issue?
Yes, my name is Richard Bethel. I'm the counsel to both cemeteries. And given what I've heard so far, I don't have any substantive comment other than to note the obvious. This meeting seems to be preoccupied with Wellwood Avenue, since we are on Wellwood Avenue at this time moment. But I also want to note two ministerial changes in the certificate of merger that I anticipate having to make. One is simply that apparently when we completed the Beth Moses unanimous vote of lot owners present, we put the wrong year. We have the right month and day. May 23 should be 2024. I just want to note it for the record. We'll make the correction, obviously, when we file this with the Department of State. Secondly, David Auerbach, who has been active for this cemetery for about 50 years, has announced his intention to retire at the end of the year. Since I don't expect us to get through a public hearing, where I don't expect anybody to appear, but notwithstanding of the county legislature and the Attorney General's office by the end of the year, I just want to note for the record that whoever is present at that point, that name will be substituted for David's. And so I'm saying this in the interest of full disclosure. Those are the ministerial changes. They don't change the substance of anything else. With that, I would hope that you would approve the merger or recommend the approval of the merger. Ultimately, it will be done by the Attorney General's office. For all the reasons that Kerry has already indicated, we think that this is in everyone's best interest. It will probably go unnoticed by the public. I expect to be effectively unnoticed by the county and the town because it really doesn't change anything. We're going to, and as properly pointed out, it will probably save a small amount in administrative expenses for the cemetery because as opposed to doing two financial statements and following all those, the same accountants will prepare one. And I think that's in everybody's interest. Thank you. I'm happy to entertain any questions if there are any.
I appreciate you being here and providing that. Any members of the board have any questions for either Richard or for Carrie or us?
No questions.
No questions?
I don't have
You
any
know
questions, no.
Council, do you have anything other than reading the resolution?
No, again, the proposed resolution's date has been amended to this date, November 12th. And I will read this one, and it is much shorter. Whereas the New York State Cemetery Board has reviewed the materials submitted by Wellwood Cemetery Association, Inc., 52-059, and Beth Moses Cemetery Corporation, 52-005, to merge into the Wellwood Beth Moses Cemetery Corporation pursuant to not-for-profit corporation law, section 1506-D, and subject to the approval of the Suffolk County Legislature and either the Office of the Attorney General or Supreme Court, hereby resolves that the board approves the annex certificate of merger pursuant to PCL section 909 and 404E, and the board recommends approval of the merger pursuant to NPCL section 1506-DA.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on the resolution? I would just make a comment that this, I think, is, again, it should probably go unnoticed, but not unnoticed by the cemetery board. The two corporations operating independently, I thought sort of ran afoul with independence of the organization. So each board working in the interest of the specific corporations. I am delighted that the communities have proceeded here. I think it will correct that, and also, again, this mirrors the reality that boards have operated as one since their inception. So I have no other thoughts. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as read into the record. Do I have a second?
I will second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The resolution is approved. Thank you. I think that concludes our official business today.
Apologies, Mark. I have two things to add.
Jill? Yes, Jill. Staff, or I can't.
No, sorry. Me on Jill's account. Sorry.
Yep.
I didn't mention this in the division report because there was a bit of a confusion probably on my part. And I didn't want to announce this publicly before I announced it to all of our staff, but here we are. I apologize to the staff for not letting you guys know first. We have two other staffing changes to note in the division, both effective November 21st. Alicia Young will be returning to her original position with the division as a senior accountant, and her position will be filled by Carrie Ferrezzi, who will be moving up from associate accountant to assistant director, leaving the associate accountant in Albany vacant. Mark, you already have the paperwork in your inbox. And so obviously we thank Alicia for her service through COVID and all kinds of crazy as assistant director, and are very glad that she's not actually retiring. And so we welcome Carrie to doing all the stuff that Alicia had to do before.
I'd like to add that I have complete faith in Carrie, and that she's gonna do a great job.
And
Right.
you don't get a shovel for this one, Alicia.
Well, it's delightful news. I know it's been a bit of a bureaucratic slog, but thank you for your service in that position, Lisa. Thanks for staying. And Carrie, we look forward to working with you on the new role. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, our next board meeting is set for December what?
December 10th.
10th? At the usual
And
time?
for board members who intend to attend in person, if you we will, one of Alicia or Carrie or I will be sharing our menu with you so we can get your lunch orders.
We are always interested in comments from the public on matters before the board or matters otherwise that the board might be interested in. It's just the time to do it. We have, is there anyone online wishing to address the board on issues of concern or for improvement? Hearing none, is there anybody in the room that would like to address the board on matters, cemetery matters?
Sure.
Sure, David.
Thank you. Good morning, David Fleming, representing the New York State Association of Cemeteries. First, on a legislative and regulatory issue, I just wanted to advise the cemetery board and the division that at our last fall conference, just a couple of weeks ago, The NISAC board has authorized lobbying activities to seek an increase in the abandonment fund from $2 million to $2.5 million more if possible. That's in recognition of the fact that the reports are ably presented at every cemetery board meeting where we are utilizing all of those funds and they're being utilized effectively with bidding and making a real difference in the community. And certainly for these nonprofits that these funds are available. The opportunity to for public safety in the cemetery, as well as making the cemetery look better, has a direct impact on lot sales and the health of those cemeteries. So that's an important piece for the association going forward. I wanted to let you know in case someone reaches out to you and says what's going on here. And then secondarily, and more on a personal and professional note, I just want to thank Alicia for her years of dedication. That position involves a lot of interaction with NISAC and its aggressive government relations team. And she handles that ably, as well as intercedes on behalf of other parts of the department that are not as responsive, perhaps, as they should be to the needs of the Division of Cemeteries. So I want to publicly thank her for her partnership and efforts on behalf of all the cemeteries in the department. So thank you. And then just as a warning to Carrie, and welcome, you'll be hearing from us. No, it's great to have worked with you, and we wish you all the best. And it is a very dynamic position that involves a lot of different pieces that I don't think folks see on a regular basis. So wish you all the best. And again, thank you, Alicia.
Okay. Thank you, David. Appreciate your comments. The board division continues to do our Cemetery 101 trainings, and the additional staff have made that possible too. So I think that we're able to provide better services, prevent abandonments, all the things that are in our core mission. And that's all good news for the division, for the New York State Cemetery Board. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We'll second that.
No, you good on that. We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Hi.
Thank you.